In a previous video, we evaluated functions. In this video, we're going to graph functions, and our objective says just that, graph a given function. Well, we know what a function is. A function is an equation in two variables that relates an input, which is often the x variable, to an output, which is the y variable. Functions can be written using the y equals notation, or function notation would replace the y with this f of x notation. Okay. Since a function is an equation in two variables, one being an input variable, the x, the other being a y, or f of x, or an output variable, we can graph them. We have an x and a y. We have 2 points. We can graph them. But we need points to graph. So let's take a look at how we're going to do that. Example 1 here. Graph the function g of x is equal to 2x minus 3. I said briefly in the last video that a function is a rule, and this rule says double the x and then subtract 3. Okay? So let's take some x values. I'm going to pick 5 x values, negative 2, negative 1, 0, 1, and 2. And I'm going to run them through this equation or this function. Okay, so what is g of negative 2? Well, that means everywhere I see an x, I'm going to replace it with negative 2. So this is 2 times negative 2 minus 3. And 2 times negative 2 is negative 4, minus 3 is negative 7. So this point, the x came in, the x was negative 2, and the output, when it was run through the equation or run through the function, is negative 7. So x value is negative 2, y value is negative 7. In function notation, the x value is negative 2. G of x replaces the y, and it's still negative 7. Let's continue for these next 4 values of x. What is the value of the g function when x is negative 1? Well, it's 2 times negative 1 minus 3, and this is going to be negative 5. So the point is negative 1, negative 5. How about when x equals 0? What is the value of this equation or this function when x is 0? 2 times 0 minus 3. That's pretty quick. That's negative 3. So the point is 0, negative 3. Continuing when x equals 1. What is the value of this function when x is 1? 2 times 1 minus 3. Well, that's 2 minus 3, which is negative 1. So this point is 1 comma negative 1. And finally, what is the value of the function when x is 2? So what is g of 2? And so this is 2 times 2 minus 3. Well, 2 times 2, of course, is 4. Minus 3 is 1, so the value there is 1. So our fifth point is 2 comma 1. Okay, so let's graph that. We got the points. We can graph that. All right, so we'll make a simple graph. We're not going to be very fancy here. This is not, I purposely picked an equation that wasn't going to tax us in terms of graphing it. There's the x values. This is the y values or because this function is the named g, the y values or the g of x values. And we know we go from negative 2 to 2. Okay, so negative 2, negative 1, 0, 1, 2. On the x-axis, the y-axis goes from 1 to negative 7. I'll go down a bit further here. I'll move this so you can see it. And let's see here. So I'll do the same. I'll label this one by 2s. That's 2. This one's negative 2, negative 4, negative 6, and then negative 8 to capture the negative 7. Okay, then let's graph our points. So -2, -7, -2 on the x, -7 on the y, -1, -5, -1, -5 would be approximately here, 0, -3, 0, -3, 1, -1. Well, I'm gonna put a little. Let's move my 1 a little bit here. Put my 1 there. So here is 1, -1, and then 2, +1 is going to be here. And you can see in this case, I have graphed a linear function. It forms a line, and this line has a name. Its name is g of x is equal to 2x minus 3. And again, because the graph is a line, it is called, if I can be a little neater with my handwriting, it is called a linear function. And what we're going to do in the next set of videos is we're going to talk a little bit about linear functions and some of the pieces as to how they work.